Douluo. Dead Spirit Holy Dharma God, I am a natural disaster. Introduction. www.zhaozuiyuan.com, free book, traversed through the peerless Tang sect, reborn as Huiyuhao, and obtained the multi-sun and multi-blessing system. In order to better complete the tasks assigned by the system, I joined the Tang sect. This life has obtained all the inheritance of Elix and become the new deathly holy law god. I am a natural disaster, stepping on yin and yang to conquer heaven and earth. From ancient times to this day, I am revered. https://www.zhaozuiyuan.com. Chapter 1. Exile from the Duke's Mansion. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, Starry Empire, Duke's Mansion. This is not a place to keep any cats or dogs, come out now. A disdainful voice came from outside. Bang, with a loud bang, the door of the firewood room was kicked open in an instant. Unexpectedly, the door could not withstand violence and was kicked to the ground, waking up Huiyuhao from his sleep. Huiyuhao saw the dazzling sunlight coming in from outside, and he vaguely saw a beautiful woman dressed in gorgeous clothes with cold eyes. She walked in with two maids. Before he could react, one of the maids next to the beautiful woman scolded him from a high position, "Hurry up and get out of here to pay respects to madam." Why? Looking at the beautiful woman in front of him, Huiyuhao's eyes were instantly filled with anger and hatred. It was the Duchess and her son Dai Huabin in front of him who had killed his mother for a lifetime. Just because you live in the Duke's mansion, eat and use, that's not what the Duke's mansion is for. What do you say? The Duchess thought Huiyuhao's question was very ridiculous. She wanted Huiyuhao to leave the Duke's mansion as soon as possible, not afraid of 10,000, just afraid that if the Duke came back, she would know that Huiyuner was indirectly forced to death by herself and Huabin. The best way is to make him leave the Duke's mansion voluntarily and make Huiyuner's death a mystery. Then I have to give my heartfelt thanks to the Duchess for her care and meticulous care towards our mother and son over the past 11 years. Huiyuhao remembered the incident 3 years ago, and his heart was filled with anger. He looked at the Duchess with murderous eyes. Upon hearing Huiyuhao's mockery, the smile on the Duchess's face instantly froze and even turned iron blue. The maid beside her saw that the Duchess was angry and quickly spoke up to teach Huiyuhao a lesson. "Bold, how dare you slander the Duchess like this? Back then, your mother Huiyuner took advantage of the Duke's drunkenness and actively seduced and sacrificed herself, claiming to be pregnant with the Duke's bloodline. As for whether you, as a bastard, belong to the Duke, it's hard to say. That's right, maybe your mother realized she was shameless and had no face to face the Duke, so she chose to commit suicide. You two lowly maids, it's not your turn to humiliate my mother. When I talk to the Duchess, what are you two?" Pop. Pop. Huiyuhao jumped up as he spoke, and raised his hand to give a crisp slap to each of the two maids next to the Duchess, saying that he could, but he could not accept anyone insulting his mother. The Duchess saw her two close maids being beaten, and her anger spread like wildfire in her heart. Hitting them was no different, so she slapped herself in the face. "Someone." The Duchess gave an order and two strong men walked in from outside. "Beat me hard, let him understand what seniority means." At the command of the Duchess, the two strong men stood firm and punched and kicked the 11-year-old Huiyuhao. Quickly, Huiyuhao was beaten and bruised all over his body, making it difficult for him to stand steadily. However, he still didn't ask for mercy. Huiyuhao roared angrily, "Is that all you can do?" Seeing Huiyuhao enduring such great pain without making a sound surprised the Duchess, but she didn't want to see him again now. "You're just like Mom, you're such a lowly person. Blow him out of the Duke's mansion." The Duchess looked high and contemptuous, her eyes full of contempt and disdain. Dogs' eyes look down on people. "You don't have to drive me away today, I will also leave this dirty place." Huiyuhao angrily responded to the Duchess. At the age of 11, his thin and weak body was covered in bruises, as if a gust of wind could blow him at any moment. Hui Yuhao picked up the bundle by the bed and silently left the duke's mansion, dragging his tired and injured body. "Madam, let him go like this." One of the maids was somewhat unwilling. After all, Hui Yuhao slapped him. "Just a lowly person, staying at the duke's mansion is a waste of rice. When my husband returns and asks about this, I believe the four of you should know how to answer." The duchess's gaze turned to the figure of Hui Yuhao leaving beside her, as if she was thinking something in her heart. Young Master Yuhao insulted the duke and his wife and changed the surname Dai to Hua. Madame originally intended to persuade Prince Yuhao, but he once again spoke out to humiliate her and then left the duchess' mansion. The duchess was worried about his safety and immediately sent someone to search for him, but could not find his trace. Upon hearing their answers, the duchess was very satisfied. Hui Yuhao is the youngest son of the duke's mansion, but his position in the duke's mansion may not even be comparable to that of the lowest-level servants. Because his mother was the duke's personal maid, his birth was just an accident, and as the original duchess, she naturally couldn't tolerate their mother and son. When Hui Yuhao left, he could only leave through the side door, because in the eyes of the people around the duke's mansion, he did not deserve the honor and status of a duke of the mansion. He turned around and looked at the golden and glazed building behind him, as if it were a towering imperial palace, but he couldn't resist it. "Mom, you bless me with the spirit of heaven. One day, I will come back and settle here. Let the duchess, mother, son, and that man kneel in front of your tombstone to make amends for you." After Hui Yuhao finished speaking, he headed north, where there was the largest and most diverse soul beast forest in Douluo continent. The Star Do Forest. The Starry Forest is located in the northern part of the Starry Empire, on the border with the Heavenly Soul Empire. At the age of 6, Hui Yuhao's martial soul awakens to a spirit-eyed martial soul with innate soul power of level 1. Please find the book garden at www.zhaoshuyuan.com. This rare mutated martial soul made his cultivation very slow. When others could break through the Soul Master realm in 3 years, he took 5 years. In fact, without any guidance or assistance, he only reached the bottleneck of a Soul Master in 3 years. At the age of 8, he helped his mother hang clothes, but blocked the way for the Duchess's son, who directly ordered a lesson. On that day, he was beaten to a coma, and his mother was severely injured. After 3 days of unconsciousness, he woke up with the memories of Hui Yuhao. With the help of passers-by, Hui Yuhao walked north for 6 days. Following the path, he came to the riverbank to rest for a while. At this moment, he was shy with only 7 silver soul coins and 5 copper soul coins in his pocket. However, Hui Yuhao's mother has told him since childhood that children from poor families have long been in charge. He slowly closed his eyes, and his perception instantly increased several times. Everything around him became clear in his perception. Hui Yuhao looked at the fish in the water and suddenly had an idea. 1 hour later he changed into clean clothes, lit a small bonfire by the small river, and took out a short blade wrapped in a pale pink scabbard from his waist behind him. This is a relic left by his mother to Hui Yuhao on her deathbed a year ago. This is a token of love given to her by his father. According to legend, it was personally crafted by Dai Mubai, the ancestor of the Dai family, for his wife. They left Douluo continent and left it as the inheritance of the Dai family. The White Tiger Dagger is its name, a meaningful dagger that embodies the tenderness of their ancestors Yang Gang and grandmother. Looking at the White Tiger Dagger, Hui Yuhao seemed to be lost in thought, but was soon defeated by reality. Holding the White Tiger Dagger in his hand, he quickly dealt with the fish that had just been caught in the river and quickly sandwiched the 2 fish onto the campfire. Chapter 2. 1000-Year Soul Beast Tianmeng Ice Silkworm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, the fragrance of fish permeated from above the campfire, and as Hui Yuhao watched the fish being roasted and tender inside, he couldn't help but swallow his saliva, clearly impressed by his own craftsmanship. Just as he was about to taste it, he heard a sound coming from the bushes ahead. Wow! It smells so good. Hui Yuhao looked up and saw a young girl with a black ponytail, dressed in a light blue dress, perfectly showcasing her curvaceous figure. Ding! Congratulations to the host for activating the Duozidwafu system. As long as the selected woman in the strategy system is your partner, you can receive corresponding rewards. He was somewhat shocked, not realizing that he could still obtain the golden finger with the help of Hui Yuhao's body for rebirth. Hui Yuhao's gaze turned to the woman in front of him, only to see a strategy panel displayed above his head. Name: Tanya. Martial Soul. Blue Silver Grass. Soul Power Level. Level 30 Bottleneck. Position: Tianmeng Sect Leader and Shrek Academy Student. Strategy Value: 0. Hui Yuhao did not expect that his first strategic woman would be the current Tang Sect Leader Tanya. Little brother, do you sell this grilled fish? Tanya stared at the 2 golden grilled fish, drooling at the corner of her mouth. Roasted fish is not for sale. Upon hearing these words, Tanya was momentarily stunned. But this time I'll treat you to eat. Hui Yuhao said, handing a grilled fish to her. Tanya didn't hesitate to eat it, watching her eat grilled fish without considering her appearance. Beside her, Bebe couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Strategy value 10%. Seeing Tanya's strategy value instantly increase by 10%, Hui Yuhao was overjoyed and didn't expect that grilled fish could also increase his strategy value. No need to look, here's this fish for you. Hui Yuhao felt good and said, giving another fish to Bebe and grilling himself 2 more fish. Little brother, my name is Bebe, and her name is Tanya. I don't know how to call you. Bebe is gentle, and her face is full of gentleness. Hui Yuhao. A grilled fish naturally couldn't satisfy Tanya's appetite, so Hui Yuhao grilled a few more for her. After the strategy value increased to 25%, it remained motionless. Hui Yuhao let out a helpless sigh in his heart. It seemed that the road to strategy was heavy and long, so he stood up and continued heading north. Little brother, where are you going? Tanya felt a bit reluctant. After all, Hui Yuhao's grilled fish was really delicious. He didn't answer Tanya. She and Bebe didn't feel like bad people to Hui Yuhao, but he eventually kept it. When facing the person he just met, he didn't need to say he was a transparent person. Tanya, I just felt the fluctuation of his soul power. He left in the direction of the starry forest. I believe he was going to hunt soul beasts and break through the bottleneck of the soul master. Upon hearing Bebe's analysis, Tanya couldn't help but feel a hint of heartache for Hui Yuhao. Bebe, Hui Yuhao is so young that he has to go alone to the star forest to hunt soul beasts. Why don't we secretly protect him? Tanya ate his grilled fish and couldn't bear it, so she decided to go help her with Bebe. Starry Forest. Hui Yuhao arrived at the starry forest and was shocked by the dense forest inside. He quickly took out the white tiger dagger behind him and prepared himself to defend against sudden crises at any time. At this moment, a baboon quickly jumped out of the jungle next to Hui Yuhao and rushed towards him at lightning speed. Facing the baboon, Hui Yuhao instantly injected soul power into his spiritual eyes and martial soul, and his perception power instantly increased several times. Faced with the attack of the baboon, Hui Yuhao quickly defended himself with the white tiger dagger. It is still unknown whether he can have a full stomach in the Duke's mansion, let alone someone to guide him. Facing a baboon for 10 years now still feels very difficult. Hui Yuhao understood that he couldn't just passively defend himself, he had to make quick decisions and turn passive defense into active attack. He no longer retained his soul power, and even disregarded his injuries, using the white tiger dagger in his hand to stab the baboon. The white tiger dagger absorbed Hui Yuhao's soul power and instantly released powerful energy, directly killing the baboon in front of it. He also collapsed to the ground due to physical exhaustion, and at this moment his original white clothes had turned into fragmented blood-red clothes. He was still holding on, afraid to close his eyes, afraid that he would close them and sleep forever in the starry forest. Looking at the white soul rings appearing on the corpse of the baboon in front of him, Hui Yuhao was somewhat surprised, but unfortunately he couldn't even absorb the most basic soul rings. He also understood that the baboon in front of him was not a spiritual soul ring and was not suitable for him to absorb. Hui Yuhao, as a modern bone ash reader, was reborn into this world for only 3 years. However, during Hui Yun'er's 2 years in life, it was she who made herself feel maternal love. Unfortunately, ordinary medicine cannot cure her injury at all, as if everything is being arranged. Hui Yuhao promised his mother Hui Yun'er that he would make the Duchess, Dai Huabin, and the heartless man redeem themselves in front of her tombstone. At this moment, the earth in front of Hui Yuhao suddenly shook and began to gradually crack on both sides. I have finally found a human with spiritual attributes. It seems that heaven will not destroy me. A voice came from the crack, and then a platinum light shone out. The dazzling light made Hui Yuhao unable to open his eyes. The temperature around gradually decreased, and as the platinum light dissipated, a 7-meter long caterpillar appeared in front of Hui Yuhao. It should not be more precise to say a 7-meter long silkworm baby. It is white jade colored all over, but has 10 golden stripes on its body. Hui Yuhao understands that the silkworm baby in front of him is the only surviving million-year-old soul beast in Douluo continent. Zhaoshuyuan.com. Just as Hui Yuhao was lost in thought, the silkworm baby in front of him began to chatter incessantly, introducing himself. Kid, let me introduce myself to you. I am the embodiment of heroes and chivalry, the king of soul beasts who values both wisdom and beauty, a peerless powerhouse. I have practiced for millions of years and have created the record for the longest lifespan of the Douluo continent, the Heavenly Dream Ice Silkworm. You can call me Heavenly Dream Brother. Just as Tianmeng Ice Silkworm thought the boy in front of him was full of admiration, Hui Yuhao's words mercilessly shattered its narcissism. Silkworm baby, were you talking to me just now? Hui Yuhao asked seriously. The Heavenly Dream Ice Silkworm instantly petrified. As a powerful soul beast for millions of years, I didn't expect to be despised by a weak chicken like human boy now. Silkworm baby. Silkworm baby, you're big. Tianmeng Ice Silkworm swung its tail and directly knocked Hui Yuhao away. Bang! Hui Yuhao fiercely collided with a big tree 3 meters away, as if his bones were about to fall apart. He understood that Tianmeng Ice Silkworm had just saved his hand, otherwise he would have really sent him on the road. What are you? What are you doing? Hui Yuhao saw Tianmeng Ice Silkworm slowly approaching, feeling a bit uneasy in his heart. Don't be afraid, brother will be gentle and gentle. Tianmeng Ice Silkworm said with an evil smile. Tianmeng Ice Silkworm ignored whether Hui Yuhao agreed or not, and directly transformed into 10 golden white lights to merge with Hui Yuhao's body. Oh my god, I didn't expect this kid to be a weak chicken. How many soul powers do I need to seal myself? Just as Tianmeng Ice Silkworm complained about Hui Yuhao's weakness, the sky suddenly changed, with lightning and thunder roaring. A gray airflow rushed towards Hui Yuhao, merging with him. Even as a million-year soul beast, Tianmeng Ice Silkworm cannot prevent him from merging with Hui Yuhao. Chapter 3. The Deathly God of the Law, Elix. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, a figure of an old man appeared behind Hui Yuhao, and his old voice sounded with a hint of divine power. Holding the sun, moon, and stars, there is no one like me in the world. I didn't expect that I could still retain a trace of my soul. The Heavenly Dream Ice Silkworm once again strengthened its spiritual power, but it had no effect on the old man in front of him. On the contrary, Hui Yuhao's body began to bleed from his 7 orifices and was almost unable to bear it. Hui Yuhao understood that he must stay awake and not fall into a coma, otherwise everything would be in vain. I didn't expect to finally find a human with spiritual attributes, but still have to coexist with others. It's like heaven envies talent. But I'm finally relieved. Those bastards who want to eat me will never have a chance again, ha ha ha. When Tianmeng Ice Silkworm complained and complained, the gray-emitting old man had successfully integrated into Huiyuhao's spiritual world, transforming into a gray sphere. Subsequently, Tianmeng Ice Silkworm merged with Huiyuhao, and Huiyuhao's consciousness became increasingly blurred until he passed out in a coma. On the other side. What happened just now? Not long ago, Beibei and Tanya followed behind Huiyuhao. Beibei suddenly lost control of his body, and the entire southern star forest fell into a state of silence. No, there might be something wrong with Yuhao. Tanya quickly realized the seriousness of the problem and ran towards Huiyuhao. Tanya, wait for me. Beibei was worried about Tanya's accident and quickly chased after her. Tanya saw the winged baboon on the side and Huiyuhao lying on the ground. She quickly ran over and hugged him, saying with self-blame, "It's all my fault. If I hadn't delayed by the river, Yuhao wouldn't have been okay." Beibei's gaze fell on the corpse of the winged baboon, and from the injury, he could see that it was killed by a sharp weapon. He came to Tanya's side and took the white tiger dagger from Huiyuhao's hand. "Tanya, don't worry, Huiyuhao is fine. This is a soul guide. It seems that he killed the winged baboon thanks to it." Upon hearing Beibei's words, Tanya couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. She firmly replied, "Our sect leader has decided that from this moment on, Yuhao will be a member of our Tang sect." With the help of the heavenly dream ice silkworm, Huiyuhao's spiritual world began to extend into a sea of spirit, carrying 10 golden light balls, and not far away was an independent gray ball. "So your name is Huiyuhao, but you are missing a time period." When the heavenly dream ice silkworm became Huiyuhao's wisdom soul ring, it accepted all his memories. Unfortunately, after Huiyuhao was 8 years old, some time periods became blurry, making it difficult for the heavenly dream ice silkworm to understand. "How did you, a silkworm baby, cultivate into a million-year soul beast?" Huiyuhao looked curiously at the heavenly dream ice silkworm. The boy doesn't want to die, so he obediently calls him, heavenly dream brother. Speaking of his story, it's all blood and tears. "I was born in an extremely cold place in the north and possess both spiritual and ice attributes as an ice silkworm. One day, I encountered a natural enemy and accidentally fell into the ice to avoid her, only to unexpectedly obtain the eternal ice marrow. So, I ate and slept underground, eating and sleeping until I found that I had golden stripes, so I left. Unexpectedly, I encountered more eternal ice marrow underground, and then continued to eat and sleep, sleeping and eating." "So you never achieved victory in your life?" Huiyuhao asked again, with a murderous heart. "Are you disliking me? Our ice silkworm clan does not have combat power, but they give us 2 different attributes. You are a powerful soul beast that has been around for millions of years. How could I possibly despise you?" Huiyuhao naturally wouldn't despise Tianmeng ice silkworm. As his own intelligent soul ring, its function is self-evident. Huiyuhao thanked those 100,000-year-old soul beasts in his heart. If it weren't for them absorbing the soul power from the heavenly dream ice silkworm, they wouldn't have become his own wise soul ring. That is a million-soul beast that even the title Douluo powerhouse cannot bear. Then his gaze turned to the gray ball in mid-air. "Yuhao, although I don't know what it is, it doesn't seem to be any harm to you at the moment," Tianmeng ice silkworm explained to him. "Well, I know." Huiyuhao naturally understood the background of the gray ball. He could say that holding the sun, moon, and stars, there was no such person as me in the world, and he was not an ordinary person. Tianmeng ice silkworm reminded, "Yuhao, you should also leave now. There are 2 people outside anxiously waiting for you to wake up." Huiyuhao left his spiritual sea and slowly opened his eyes. Tanya was extremely excited when she saw Huiyuhao waking up. She quickly grabbed Hui Yuhao's arm to confirm if she was dreaming. Xiaoya, what are you doing? Tanya realized she had made a mistake and blushed shyly, saying, I'm not confirming if I'm dreaming. Hui Yuhao was stunned. Did you dream that you couldn't pinch yourself and had to pinch his arm? Yuhao, have you been bold enough to enter the starry forest alone? Tanya scolded with a tone of concern in her heart. Hui Yuhao was taken aback for a moment. To gain a woman's favor, one must resonate with her. I am already alone, someone like me who is dragging my feet and others are avoiding me. How could they possibly help me? Hui Yuhao's eyes showed a hint of disappointment and ridicule. Whoever said it, Bebe and I are willing to help you, Tanya answered without hesitation. After all, she was once alone, but she was a little better than Hui Yuhao. Hui Yuhao's eyes were red, his gaze fixed on Tanya. Really? Really? Sister Xiaoya, look for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Are you true? Are you and Bebe really willing to help me? Of course, I am the leader of the Tang sect, I have 9 words. Tanya patted her chest and replied. Sister Xiaoya. Hui Yuhao hugged Tanya directly and buried his head in the ditch. Tanya didn't think much and hugged him with a look of self-blame, saying, Bebe, it's all my fault. If it weren't for me wasting time, Yuhao's first soul ring wouldn't have been only 10 years. Seeing that the strategy value had increased by 10% again, Hui Yuhao quickly spoke up and said, No, Sister Xiaoya, I can obtain a soul ring for 10 years, which is already enough. How can I trouble you all? Tanya looked at Hui Yuhao so sensible and recognized him very much in her heart. Yuhao, are you willing to join Tangmen? As long as you are willing to join Tangmen, you can get a free spot to enter Shrek school. Do people like me qualify? Yuhao, as long as you are willing, no one will object. Now that Bebe and I are also students of Shrek Academy, you can also enter Shrek Academy and learn more systematic soul beast knowledge and combat skills. Tanya's eyes were filled with anticipation, afraid that Hui Yuhao would turn back. I am willing to join Tangmen. Hui Yuhao chose to agree directly in order to get the moon near the water tower first. At this point, Xiaoya's strategy value has increased by 10% again, reaching 45%. Xiaoya took out a book from Neji and handed it to Hui Yuhao. Yuhao, this is a copy of the Xiantian treasure record of the Tang clan, which records our unique skills. In addition to Xiantian skill, it also records 5 unique skills. The Xuanyu hand for hand training, the purple extreme magic eyes for eye training, the crane and dragon control method for capturing, the ghost shadow and misty shadow method for lightness, and the 100 explanations for using hidden weapons. Chapter 4. Datura Snake in Year 0. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, looking at the Xiantian treasure record, Hui Yuhao's eyes showed a thought-provoking smile, especially the Xiantian technique, which is the highest cultivation technique of Taoism. 10,000 years ago, Xiao Wuzhen was able to successfully defeat the joint attack of Qian Rengshu and Bibidong. Although he had the hidden box operations of the Sea God and Shura God, he could not do without the help of Xiantian Baolu. At this moment, Hui Yuhao felt a soul beast rapidly approaching them. Before he could remind Bebe and Tanya, a pink snake about 13 meters long attacked them. This is the Millennium Mandala snake, Bebe helped me catch it. Tanya saw the Millennium Mandala snake with excitement in her eyes. As a blue-silver grass martial soul, she was the most suitable to become her 3rd soul ring soul beast. Bebe didn't hesitate at all. This time, he came out with Tanya to help her pass the 3rd soul ring. The first soul skill, Thunder Dragon Claw. The first yellow soul ring on Bebe's body lit up, and his right arm instantly turned into a dragon claw, attacking the Millennium Mandala snake. The strong body of the Mandala snake, coupled with its snake scales for protection, the Thunder Dragon Claw sparks on the scales without harming it at all. The weakness of the Mandala snake lies in its eyes and mouth, which it protects very well. Nowadays, the mandala snake is not a century-old soul beast, and its strength and spiritual intelligence are no less than that of a soul master in the soul master realm. Damn it, come again. Bebe didn't expect the mandala snake to be so difficult to deal with. In order to show off in front of Tanya, he used his second soul skill. Thunder is overwhelming. The purple lightning transformed into dozens of lightning snakes, converging into a lightning net in mid-air, enveloping the mandala snake. Jick. The mandala snake spat out a yellow mist and attacked the incoming thunder net. Unexpectedly, the terrifying thunder net encountered the yellow mist, which reduced its power by 89%. Xiaoya, don't worry about me, help Senior Bebe first. Hui Yuhao understood that with Bebe's current Soul Lord strength, he could only fight against the Millennium Mandala Snake in 5 battles, and could not defeat it at all. Tanya also understood that the Millennium Mandala Snake is not an ordinary soul beast. If she misses this opportunity, she doesn't know when she will be able to find a suitable soul beast. The first soul skill, Entanglement. Tanya released her blue-silver grass martial soul, and countless purple vines wrapped around the mandala snake. Bebe no longer retains his strength, he must seize this once-in-a-millennium opportunity. The third soul skill, Thunder Fury. With the blessing of the third soul skill Thunder Fury, Bebe's soul power attack power instantly increased by 50%. Even though Bebe unleashed all his strength and Tanya's first soul skill, he still couldn't control the Millennium Mandala Snake. It seems that I have to take action, let me try the first soul ring skill I just obtained. Hui Yuhao smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth and said directly. The first soul skill, Shared Spirit Detection. When his first soul skill was activated and a white soul ring appeared around him, everything around him within 30 meters was presented in a three-dimensional way in his mind. Spiritual detection and sharing are two of the 4 soul skills bestowed upon him by the heavenly dream ice silkworm. Spiritual detection can increase the detection range as the soul power level increases. And spiritual sharing can share spiritual detection and one's own consciousness with each other. Now, with his dots, everything within a 30-meter range is shared in a trinity with Bebe and Tanya. This sky-defying vision. Bebe and Tanya exchanged a glance, but they didn't expect that Hui Yuhao had only hunted and killed another 10th-grade wind baboon, and had acquired such an incredible soul skill. If they had not witnessed the wind baboon being killed by the white tiger dagger with their own eyes, they would never have believed that such an incredible soul skill could only be provided by other soul beasts in the 10th grade. They did not dwell too much on Hui Yuhao's soul skills, after all, their primary task was to kill the Millennium Mandala Snake and obtain the third soul ring for Tanya. I'll see where you're running this time, Thunderstorm. With the assistance of Hui Yuhao, even though the Mandala Snake was extremely fast, Bebe still found its weakness. The Thunder Dragon Claw attacked the Mandala Snake at 7 inches. Mandala Snake hair injured, emitting a painful mournful cry. Xiao Yiji, hurry up. Hui Yuhao threw the white tiger dagger directly at Tanya, and Tanya instantly took the white tiger dagger and stabbed it into the mouth of the Mandala Snake. Jick. The Mandala Snake roared in pain, powerless to resist falling from mid-air. It had intended to treat the 3 weak humans as lunch, but unexpectedly, it confessed it here. The Mandala Snake ultimately cannot escape the arrangement of fate, and a purple Millennium Soul Ring emerges from its body. Tanya was extremely excited and sat cross-legged in front of the Mandala Snake, beginning to absorb the soul ring of the Millennium Old Mandala Snake. Yuhao, thank you so much today. Without your assistance, I'm afraid Xiaoya and I wouldn't be able to kill this Millennium-level Mandala Snake. Watching Tanya absorb the soul ring, Bebe couldn't help but feel happy for her. Hui Yuhao naturally contributed to her success in obtaining the Millennium Soul Ring this time. Senior Bebe, before, Sister Xiaoya provided me with the Xiantian treasure record. Sister Xiaoya needed a soul ring, so I naturally wouldn't sit idly by. Besides, now I can also be considered a member of the Tang sect. Beibei is no longer verbose, but directly shifts the topic. Yuhao, you just got the Shen treasure record. Sit down and I'll teach you how to practice Shen Gong first. Upon hearing that Beibei was helping him cultivate the Shen treasure record, Yuhao naturally wouldn't refuse to seek help from Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com, as it is better to be led by someone than to explore blindly. When Tanya absorbed the Millennium Soul Ring of the Mandala Snake, Beibei began to help Yuhao cultivate Shen Gong. Yuhao felt a gentle soul power wandering towards his meridians, and he clearly felt the disorder in his body's meridians. Not to surprise even Beibei, who was introduced to Shen Gong, how Yuhao's poor talent led him to level 10 in cultivation. Beibei did not know what kind of treatment Yuhao had received in the Duke's mansion, to the extent that his meridians were disrupted and blocked, and he even left behind many hidden illnesses. As Shen Gong worked in his body, the meridians began to slowly repair, until just before dawn, a mouthful of black blood spat out from his mouth. Yuhao felt his body relax a lot, marveling at the strength of Taoist mind techniques, and also made him somewhat understand why that little rascal sneaked into the Tang sect scripture pavilion and stole the Shen treasure record. Yuhao, gaze at the place where the sun rises in the east. I will teach you the purple extreme magic eyes. To cultivate the purple extreme magic eyes, you must absorb the purple energy that comes from the first ray of sunlight in the morning. Beibei, in order to thank him for his help, explained the techniques in the Shen treasure record very carefully, and Yuhao also listened very attentively. When the explanation of the techniques in the Shen treasure record was completed, Tanya also successfully absorbed the Millennium Soul Ring of the Mandala Snake. Tanya Fei quickly stood up and came to Yuhao, tightly hugging him. Excitedly, he said, Yuhao, thank you so much this time. If it weren't for your assistance to me and Beibei, I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to obtain such a good soul ring. Seeing his beloved holding Yuhao, Beibei's smile couldn't help but stiffen. He didn't understand that the person she was holding should not be him. Chapter 5. Joining Shrek College. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push, he saw the system panel prompt revealed by Tanya, and the strategy value directly increased by 20%, with a cumulative strategy value of 65%. This progress made him feel happy. After all, he was just giving Tanya some help, and he didn't expect such a huge gain. However, Yuhao soon felt a suffocating sensation coming. Originally, Tanya pressed his head into the soft crevice, making it impossible for him to breathe. Yuhao's face began to turn pale, struggling to escape from this predicament. He didn't expect to be suffocated by Tanya before he could successfully conquer her. Yuhao struggled to make a sound as his eyes began to blur and his vision gradually became blurred. Xiaoya, let go quickly. Beibei also felt the unpleasant atmosphere and quickly reminded Tanya. Tanya suddenly realized that she was too excited. She watched as Yuhao fell to the ground, gasping for breath. Her face turned red, and she awkwardly wished to find a hole to burrow into. Yuhao, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Tanya quickly helped him up and kept apologizing to him. Sister Xiaoya, it's okay, I know you didn't mean it. Yuhao smiled and looked at Tanya, but secretly thought to himself. If the strength had been weaker just now, how good would it have been? Beibei breathed a sigh of relief when he saw the resolution of the matter. He didn't mention the previous incident again, after all, he didn't want to be suffocated. Since Xiaoya has obtained the soul ring, let's leave the starry forest first, Beibei reminded them. The starry forest not only has a wide variety of soul beasts, but also increases danger. 1,000-year-old mandala snake is so difficult to deal with, and encountering stronger ones may make them pay a heavier price. Tanya nodded, and she also realized it. Okay, let's get out of here quickly. She took Yuhao's hand and hurriedly walked out. In the starry forest, there are towering trees and dense shade. The sunlight shines through the gaps in the leaves, forming mottled shadows. The breeze gently brushes the leaves, making a rustling sound. They carefully shuttle between the trees, always keeping their guard. They dare not speak loudly for fear of startling the surrounding soul beasts. Tanya held Hui Yuhao's hand while whispering with Beibei about the direction of progress. Yuhao, after returning this time, I will reward you with a huge surprise. This time, she was very satisfied with the Millennium Soul Ring of the Mandala Snake. They walked out of the Star Forest and arrived at the small river before. Tanya thought of delicious grilled fish and looked at Hui Yuhao. Beibei, I'll leave the fish to you. Yuhao, let me tell you about the 100 solutions to hidden weapons in the Shantian treasure record. Tanya said this, recalling various past events in her mind. 4,000 years ago, the land plates drifted and the western sun-moon continent collided with the Douluo continent. Faced with the invasion of the Sun and Moon continent, the three major empires of Douluo continent, Star Empire, Heavenly Soul Empire, and Doling Empire, joined forces to resist the invasion of Douluo continent by the Sun and Moon continent. The entire Tang sect mobilized, facing the soul-guided weapons of the Sun and Moon continent, and Tang sect's hidden weapons also began to fall behind. In the end, Shrek Academy led the three major empires of Douluo continent to defeat the Sun and Moon continent with 100 titled Douluo, and ultimately became known as Douluo continent. Although the Sun and Moon continent lost, the influence of soul guides on the three empires was quickly unstoppable. Nowadays, except for some sects and royal families, they are widely used. Yuhao, with the rapid development of soul-guided weapons, Tang sect's hidden weapons have gradually been phased out by the times. Tanya said here, with a hint of unwillingness and disappointment in her eyes. Hui Yuhao seized the opportunity and quickly spoke up, "Don't worry, Xiaoya. In the future, I will definitely help you revive Tangmen. Tangmen's hidden weapons may not be inferior to soul-guided weapons, but some powerful hidden weapons require divine craftsmen of the same height. I believe that in the near future, a brand new sect will definitely be displayed in front of the world." Upon hearing Hui Yuhao's comfort, Tanya couldn't help feeling relieved in her heart. One day later Hui Yuhao followed Beibei and Tanya to see a city gate with the name Shrek City on it, which was tall and majestic. This is Shrek City, a city that emerged from Shrek Academy. Shrek City is under the jurisdiction of Shrek Academy, and its lord is directly dispatched by the Sea God Pavilion. Tanya smiled and looked at Hui Yuhao, his eyes full of smiles. "Yuhao, now you can also be considered a member of our Tangmen. The big gift from our sect leader is to join Shrek College without taking the entrance examination. Free admission. Not bad, Tangmen has a special connection with Shrek College. Tangmen has an annual quota for entrance exams without examination." Tanya said this with a hint of confidence in her eyes. However, Tang clan has another peculiar rule that the sect leader must be a blue silvergrass martial soul. They all hope to have a powerful soul master with the blue silver emperor bloodline like Tang San, so that Tang clan can become bigger and stronger, and create more glory. But things went against expectations, and it was precisely because of this strange regulation that the Tang clan declined in disguise. After all, not everyone who owned the blue-silver grass was the blue-silver emperor, let alone a soul master with twin martial souls. After entering Shrek City, Beibei and Tanya successfully helped Hui Yuhao register for Shrek Academy. Zhaozhuyuan.com Yuhao, Tangmen has paid the tuition fees for you this year. As for the future fees, you will have to fight for them yourself. Even Shrek College, which is an external institution, has very strict assessment. If you cannot pass the next stage of assessment, you will have to leave here, so. Don't worry, Senior Beibei. For the sake of Tangmen and to repay you and Sister Xiaoya, I will definitely work hard to cultivate and never let you down. Seeing him so determined, Beibei and Tanya also felt relieved. Yuhao, ahead is the first grade dormitory. Here is your school uniform and room key. Xiaoya and I left because we had something else to do. Beibei and Tangya left, and Hui Yuhao lowered his head to look at the key in his hand. Room number 201. Hui Yuhao arrived at the entrance of the dormitory building and saw an elderly man with white hair lying on a lounge chair, taking a very comfortable nap. It seems that he is over 100 years old, but his aura has already integrated with the surrounding environment. Hui Yuhao understands that the old man in front of him is not an ordinary person. Hello Grandpa, I don't know how to get to room 201. Hui Yuhao understood that at this moment, he had the only opportunity to communicate and couldn't miss it. Walking up to the second floor, the first room is there. The old man did not look at Hui Yuhao, but his figure had already been captured in his mind. Hui Yuhao opened the room, and during a holiday, a lot of dust fell. Growing up with his mother, he had long understood that children from poor families were already in charge, so he started cleaning the room. Half an hour later, Hui Yuhao looked at his dormitory and nodded in satisfaction. Seeing my stomach growling with hunger, I was ready to go to the cafeteria to fill my stomach. I had just opened the dormitory door and was about to leave. I saw a handsome young man with short pink-blue hair walk in and say rudely, "Get out of the way." Chapter 6. Courage to Return to Death. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Looking at Wang Dong, Hui Yuhao suddenly heard a system prompt ringing in his ear. Name: Wang Dong, Tang Wudong, Martial Soul. Bright Girl, Dragon, Divine Butterfly, Haotian Hammer Soul Power Level. Level 24. Strategy Value 0. Hui Yuhao thought to himself, this is Tang San and Xiao Wu's daughter. I didn't expect the woman to dress up as a man, go around, and finally deliver it to her own bowl. Wang Dong brushed past him directly and glanced at the clean and tidy dormitory, feeling somewhat satisfied. Facing Hui Yuhao on the side, he said calmly, for the sake of keeping your dormitory clean, you can temporarily stay here, but I have 5 requirements. Please remember. 1. It is not allowed to bring people back to the dormitory casually. 2. It is not allowed to be annoying naked in the dormitory. 3. Snoring is not allowed when sleeping at night. 4. Don't disturb me at any time. 5. In the future, the hygiene of the dormitory belongs to you, but you cannot touch my bed. Did you hear clearly? Watching the other person towering and with a sense of arrogance in his eyes, Hui Yuhao felt very unhappy and couldn't help but think of the experiences in the Duke's mansion. Why do you think you are? Hui Yuhao looked at Wang Dong with anger in his eyes. If you don't agree, then I'll fight until you agree. Wang Dong didn't expect the person in front of him to dare to provoke him like this. You can give it a try. Hui Yuhao looked angrily at Wang Dong, clenching his fist. Even if he died, it would leave her with unforgettable memories for life. I hope you don't regret it. See you downstairs in the dormitory. Wang Dong sneered and turned around to leave the dormitory, walking down the stairs. Who regrets it? It's not certain. Hui Yuhao said as he followed Wang Dong out of the dormitory. Looking at Hui Yuhao across from him, there was a hint of disdain in his eyes, and he said coldly, Wang Dong, don't fight against the unknown, just give me your name. Hui Yuhao. From the day he left the Duke's mansion, he decided to take the surname Hui throughout his life, with no surname Dai and no further involvement. Hui Yuhao. I want this name to disappear from Shrek Academy forever soon. Wang Dong said, reaching out his hand and gesturing for Hui Yuhao to take action first. Lions and rabbits fight with all their might. Ignoring the enemy's carelessness is a taboo of military strategists. Today, I will make you, Wang Dong, regret your choice. Hui Yuhao released his first soul ring and directly used his first soul technique to detect the spirit, projecting everything within a 30-meter range into his consciousness. 10 years of white soul ring. You dare to provoke me? Wang Dong said, quickly approaching Hui Yuhao and lifting his leg towards his chest. Ghost shadows, I didn't expect it to be a new member of the Tang sect. The white-haired old man lying on the lounge chair opened his eyes at some point and looked at the battle between Wang Dong and Hui Yuhao. Hui Yuhao was very surprised by Wang Dong's strength, but he didn't expect that the opponent would still be stronger than him without using his martial soul. No, if we continue to passively defend like this, we will definitely lose when our soul power is depleted. Hui Yuhao began to search for Wang Dong's weakness. Humph, you think just avoiding will defeat me, take the move. Wang Dong instantly lifted his leg and smashed his horse towards Hui Yuhao's shoulder. Bang! Until this move, Hui Yuhao couldn't dodge and directly resisted, feeling that his shoulder frame was about to loosen, pushing Wang Dong's thigh away. Bastard, how dare you hit my thigh? Wang Dong didn't expect Hui Yuhao to be so cunning, and was instantly angered by him. How's it going to push your thighs? There will be more room for pushing in the future. Hui Yuhao knew that his strength was not as good as Wang Dong, so he decided not to sacrifice himself and added. Seeking death. At this moment, Wang Dong realized that Hui Yuhao was actually a disciple. Seeing Wang Dongzhen's anger and his intention to release his martial soul, Hui Yuhao realized the seriousness of the problem and quickly used his first soul skill, Soul Shock. Wang Dong suddenly felt a piercing pain in his brain from a needle, and before he could react, he was rushed towards by Hui Yuhao. Bang! Hui Yuhao tightly locked Wang Dong with his body and threw him to the ground. Do you agree with it? His gaze was fixed on Wang Dong, but he didn't expect her body to be so soft. You're a big-headed ghost, you bastard, get out of here. Wang Dong's teeth itched with anger, but he didn't expect to lose to a vegetable chicken. She didn't find a person who was pushed to the ground by the other party. It was humiliating. His mother opened the door for humiliating people. It was humiliating. Hui Yuhao took out the white tiger dagger from his waist, and before Wang Dong could react, he instantly inserted it 1 centimeter away from her neck. If I had just started killing you, I would have killed you long ago, and you remembered it for me. For the sake of sharing a dormitory, I can't refuse the 5 demands you made. But please remember that in the future, you still want to continue humiliating me. Even if you kill me, I will bite a piece of meat from you. Hui Yuhao stood up and put away the white tiger dagger. Ignoring Wang Dong, he walked towards the cafeteria. Wang Dong looked at the background of Hui Yuhao's departure and stood still. He never expected that his great soul master, who had a millennium soul ring, would lose to the person who had just broken through the soul master. She has been superior to others since childhood, and now she even doubts whether her previous cultivation direction was correct. At this moment, an old voice came from the ear. You lost not only the game, but also your heart. Wang Dong followed the direction of the voice and looked for the old man with white hair lying on the lounge chair at the entrance of the dormitory. I was just a momentary carelessness. If I were to use my soul skills at the beginning, he wouldn't even have a chance to take action. Wang Dong quickly defended himself. The old man did not refute her, and he was also aware that Wang Dong in front of him was disguised as a man, but he did not reveal her identity. Indeed, both in strength and soul power, he is not as good as you, but from the beginning, he treated death as if returning home, and this courage is not something that everyone can possess. The old man in front of me is not an ordinary person, but the current lord of the Sea God Pavilion, Muan, a level 99 strong attack extreme Douluo, titled Dragon God, with a martial soul of bright holy dragon. Hui Yuhao arrived at the cafeteria and unexpectedly met Tanya and Beibei again here. Yuhao, come over here. Our sect leader is treating you tonight. Tanya smiled and waved to Hui Yuhao. Sister Xiaoya, Senior Beibei. Hui Yuhao sat beside them. Yuhao, this time I'll help you check your homeroom teacher. I didn't expect your homeroom teacher to be the old witch Zhou Yi. In the future, you should seek your own blessings. Although her methods are somewhat abnormal, her unique teaching method has a higher admission rate of about 15% compared to other classes. Hui Yuhao stayed in the cafeteria for an hour, not only eating, but also listening more to Tangya and Beibei explaining some relevant precautions. Returning to the dormitory, I saw Wang Dong again. Having had previous experiences, neither of them took the initiative to speak. Hui Yuhao did not lie down to rest directly. He understood that his current physical fitness was too poor, and if he did not work very hard, he was afraid that he would be the first to be eliminated in Zhou Yi's hands. He sat cross-legged by the bed and began to cultivate using the meditation Xiantian technique, which was the only way to better improve his physical fitness and soul power level. Chapter 7. Physical Punishment of 100 Circles. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Wang Dong woke up and didn't expect Hui Yuhao to still sit by the bed practicing. She was somewhat surprised by his perseverance and actually practiced all night. As a roommate in the same dormitory, Wang Dong finally reminded, class will start in half an hour. Hui Yuhao, who was practicing, opened his eyes and glanced at Wang Dong, only responding with one word. Oh. For him, there is still half an hour left, enough time to allow Xiantian Gong to circulate in his body for a whole week. Upon hearing the word "oh," Wang Dong couldn't help but twitch his lips. Unexpectedly, he took the initiative to speak and Hui Yuhao was so perfunctory. Humph. Wang Dong snorted coldly and turned around and walked out of the dormitory. Wang Dong returned to the classroom and soon saw Hui Yuhao running into the classroom in a hurry. The class bell rings. I saw an old woman wearing a white robe and with fair hair curled up above her head walking slowly to the podium, looking seriously at the students below. My name is Zhou Yi, and I am the homeroom teacher of your first grade class. Since the start of school registration, those who have fought have stood up. Hui Yuhao had a dark expression on his face, thinking that he was going to tie his ponytail and that the bad old man would probably report him. Thinking of Tang Ya's reminder, Hui Yuhao had to stand up. After all, concealing his discovery by Zhou Yi would definitely result in 100% expulsion from Shrek College. Seeing Hui Yuhao stand up, all their eyes fell on him. They didn't expect an honest person to fight with others. You vegetable chicken, what can you show off at this time? Watching Hui Yuhao stand up, Wang Dong wished to slap him to death and had to stand up with him. Although Wang Dong's voice was low, it was clearly heard by Hui Yuhao in the front row. 100 students, only the two of them were fighting, you are really useless. Upon hearing these words, except for Hui Yuhao, everyone else looked surprised and didn't expect the fight to become a form of praise. Except for the two of them, the rest of us will run 100 laps around the Shrek Square playground and be expelled if we can't finish before class ends. Zhou Yi's approach clearly caused dissatisfaction among some students, with one of them standing up and saying, Teacher Zhou, the two of them got into a fight. Why should we be punished? I don't agree. Someone became the leader, and naturally other students also began to agree. Yes, we are not convinced. Zhou Yi didn't expect anyone to dare to question her, and it was a group of newly arrived dumbfounded youths. Class 1, Grade 1, I'm the final say. As your head teacher, I have the right to dismiss any of you. If you don't agree, you can go away. Zhou Yi exuded a powerful pressure, and an unprecedented sense of oppression instantly swept across the entire class. Mom, 666. 6 soul rings. Having 2 eternal soul rings, the Soul Emperor is a strong one. Oh my, run. I didn't expect to be just a first-year student, and I didn't expect my homeroom teacher to be a Soul Emperor powerhouse. At this moment, no one dared to question Zhou Yi, and the student who refused was the first to run out of the classroom. Seeing all the students running out of the classroom, Zhou Yi's gaze fell on Hui Yuhao and Wang Dong. Tell me who you're fighting with, and why are you fighting? Zhou Yi looked serious. Teacher Zhou, my roommate Wang Dong and I had a fight due to some disagreements, but the problem has been resolved now. Hui Yuhao quickly explained that he didn't want to talk nonsense. After all, Zhou punished all the students equally. It's great to be in the same dormitory and class. Fighting can stimulate your competition and help you make better progress, but next time you look for someone from another class. I believe you are different. As a teacher, I am very pleased. Teacher, we are willing to accept punishment. Hui Yuhao quickly interrupted Zhou Yi. After all, the more you listen to Zhou Yi's verbosity, the more time you waste. What? Wang Dong looked shocked and looked at him with a silly gaze. Great, 100 laps, your end time is the same as theirs. Zhou Yi didn't expect Hui Yuhao to take the initiative to accept punishment, which surprised her a bit. However, she would waive the other party's punishment because of this. Teacher, you praised us just now. Wang Dong looked innocent, thinking that Zhou Yi wouldn't punish them. Why, praise you guys so you don't have to run. Zhou Yi looked at Wang Dong with a smile on her face, not expecting him to be so innocent. Seeing that Wang Dong was still debating, Hui Yuhao quickly grabbed her hand and ran towards the Shrek playground. Arriving at the playground, Hui Yuhao was still reluctant to let go of Wang Dong's hand. After all, it was not for the sake of gain. What reasoning are you telling her? Don't you understand that teacher Zhou treats students equally, at least in terms of teaching methods? Hui Yuhao had to explain to Wang Dong. Thank you for helping me out just now. Wang Dong looked at Hui Yuhao in front of him and suddenly didn't dislike him so much. Hui Yuhao just didn't expect to unexpectedly receive 10% of Wang Dong's strategy points. He understood that something was urgent and took the initiative to release Wang Dong's hand, starting to run towards Shrek Square. After running 50 laps, Hui Yuhao felt the soreness in his body and his pace gradually slowed down. 70 laps of his soul power were almost exhausted, and he used Xiantian Gong to clear his mind. There are still 15 laps left. Hui Yuhao saw that the other students had completed 100 laps and found the Shuyuan website www.zhaoshuyuan.com. His soul power had long been exhausted by him, but he was struggling to the death using Xiantian Gong, and his consciousness began to blur. No, I can't fall down. For the sake of my mother and myself, I must persevere. Hui Yuhao ran 5 more laps relying on his faith. There are still 10 laps left. Am I really going to lose? Watching only 5 minutes left, Hui Yuhao was unwilling, but he understood that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't finish 10 laps in 5 minutes. His consciousness began to blur, and as he fell, he saw Wang Dongting leap into the air and release his martial soul. What a beautiful butterfly! Looking at the V-shaped butterfly wings of light blue, deep blue, and deep blue, all eyes fell on Wang Dong in the air, who was her martial soul, the goddess of light butterfly. Just as Hui Yuhao was about to fall, Wang Dongfei hugged him behind him and ran the remaining 10 laps with him. I didn't expect to encounter a student with the butterfly martial soul of the light goddess this time, it's great. A smile appeared in Zhou Yi's eyes, as she gazed at the goddess butterfly martial soul, who was also a top-notch martial soul among the beast martial souls. Wang Dong and Hui Yuhao completed the last 100 laps in the last 10 seconds of the countdown. Wang Dong pressed directly on Hui Yuhao and collapsed to the ground. Wang Dong, last time I went up, this time you went up, we were even. Close your crow's mouth. Wang Dong spoke in frustration, feeling that what Hui Yuhao said was strange. Zhou Yi saw Wang Dong and Hui Yuhao finish the race, so she came to them. Congratulations on completing 100 laps, but I'll call out the names next. Zhou Yi turned to the students expressionlessly and said calmly, the names I read out are Qing Cheng, Tang Dao, Tai Long, Tang Ling, Yun Xiaopiao. Chapter 8. Spirit I Body Martial Soul. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. Zhou Yi looked at the 9 people who had just called out their names and said without hesitation, you 9 pack your bags and can leave Shrek College now. Upon hearing these words, Tai Long felt like a bolt from the blue. He possessed a powerful guerrilla martial soul with far greater strength and talent than others. He did not expect Teacher Zhou to be so selfless and impartial. Teacher Zhou, even though I ran 100 laps, why should I be fired? I'm not convinced. Did you run 100 laps? Is that really the case? Zhou Yi sneered and continued, don't think I didn't know that you used the college soul guide bike to run 2 laps just for the sake of opportunism. Tai Long was directly scolded by Zhou Yi and remained speechless. She thought she wouldn't notice her in the classroom, but unexpectedly, she was exposed. The remaining 8 people are the same, taking shortcuts to complete tasks. Shrek College does not need such students. If today's matter is not dealt with seriously, your future entry into society will only cause harm to the country. There was a hint of anger in Zhou Yi's eyes. As a homeroom teacher, she could accept students with poor talent, but could not tolerate problems with their morality and ideology. Teacher Zhou, haven't you always treated everyone equally? So what is Huiyuhao? As a top student of the same age, Tai Long couldn't accept the blow of being fired. He didn't expect that even a waste could be left behind, but he himself was fired. When did I say that classmates cannot help each other? Wang Dong volunteered to help, and with your strength and talent, you can complete tasks without any help at all. Unfortunately, you have disappointed me too much. Tai Long, are you taking the initiative to leave, or should I ask you to leave? Zhou Yi's face was serious, and her words were unquestionable. Tai Long and others understand that Zhou Yi, who is too wife, is the last ultimatum given to them. If they do not take the initiative to leave, it is very likely to use critical strikes to make them leave. As the remaining students watched the 9 of them leave in disappointment, Zhou Yi asked with a smile on her face, why? Do you want to be like them too? The 91 students present quickly shuddered, but they didn't expect Teacher Zhou to be domineering. Leaking information. Give you 15 minutes, go back to the dormitory to tidy up, and in 15 minutes, I'll be waiting for you in class. Zhou Yi deliberately lengthened the word, wait, naturally warning them of the consequences of being late invisibly. Wang Dong, thank you just now. Huiyuhao said and directly placed his hand on her shoulder. Hurry up and take away your dirty hands, Wang Dong quickly pushed Huiyuhao away. In her opinion, Huiyuhao did not know her identity as a woman disguised as a man, and even Zhou Yi did not know her identity as a woman disguised as a man. Teacher Zhou gave us 15 minutes, but we need to hurry up and go back to the dormitory to wash together, which can also save time. Wang Dong listened to Huiyuhao's advice and quickly took a step back. He always felt that Huiyuhao was not right, but he couldn't tell what was wrong. Humph, don't forget to promise me the condition, you go back to the dormitory to wash first. Wang Dong refused directly, but he didn't actually know Huiyuhao's lewd thoughts in his heart. Huiyuhao shook his head helplessly, it seemed that he couldn't be too anxious. Give them a quarter of an hour, but the previous momentum had a noticeable effect, and in less than 10 minutes, everyone was already sitting in their seats. Zhou Yi's mouth slightly raised, clearly satisfied with the result. Huiyuhao, tell everyone your soul power level. Teacher Zhou, my soul power level is now 11. Upon hearing that Huiyuhao's soul power level was only 11, all the students looked at him in surprise. Shrek admission requirements. Firstly, the age must not exceed 12 years old. The second soul power level is at least level 15, indicating that Huiyuhao does not meet the admission requirements of Shrek College. You don't have to be surprised, the college has special recruitment spots every year, and Huiyuhao is one of them. Of course, I don't care how you enter Shrek College. If you can't pass the assessment in 3 months, just get out of here. Zhou Yi gestured for Huiyuhao to sit down. Then the lecture began. Martial souls are divided into beast martial souls and weapon martial souls, so there are a total of 10 types of choices for soul masters, which are strong attack, sensitive attack, control, defense, healing, support, food, summoning, strength, and far attack. With the development of the times and the emergence of soul guides, soul masters have more choices. For example, with the blessing of soul guides, an auxiliary type soul master can release the attack power of a strong attack type soul master. Soul guides below level 50 can have unexpected effects. Beyond level 50, the shortcomings of soul guides will also be revealed, which is the attribute limitation of soul masters themselves. Remember, if you want to be a truly powerful soul master, you must strengthen your physical fitness. You can go back for dinner and continue your physical training this afternoon. Hui Yuhao will stay. Everyone couldn't help but twitch at the corners of their mouths when they heard that there was still physical training in the afternoon, but everyone dared to refute her. Hui Yuhao, I don't like nonsense. As a homeroom teacher, I want to know your martial soul. Zhou Yi's gaze turned to Hui Yuhao. As a homeroom teacher, it is natural to have a better understanding of students, and only in this way can teaching be better. Teacher Zhou, my martial soul is eyes, I call it Lingmo martial soul. Ontology, spiritual attributes, spiritual eyes and martial souls. Zhou Yi didn't expect the ordinary Hui Yuhao in front of him to be a true martial soul. From the past history, soul masters who possessed true martial souls were no exception. In the end, they all became powerful soul masters. Hui Yuhao understands that now is the opportunity for his performance, and he must let Zhou Yi discover his strengths, otherwise he will eventually be eliminated. Hui Yuhao ignored Zhou Yi and instead released his 10-year white soul ring, his spiritual eyes, and martial soul. After spiritual detection, he directly shared it with Zhou Yi. This is. Even as a soul emperor level powerhouse, Zhou Yi was stunned by the sight in front of her. Unexpectedly, everything within a radius of 30 meters could be seen clearly, even the things behind her were equally visible. Alright, take back the martial soul. Zhou Yi smiled slightly at the corner of her mouth. Unexpectedly, she broke through her iron shoes and found nowhere else. Let's go, I'll take you to a place. Zhou Yi said and left the classroom with Hui Yuhao. Soul Guidance Academy. Zhou Yi walked directly into the laboratory of the Soul Guidance Academy and stopped at the 12th laboratory. Take out a Soul Guide token from the Soul Guide ring and place it in the entrance groove. As the Soul Guide instrument scans, the laboratory door slowly opens. Fan Yu. Zhou Yi's voice echoed throughout the laboratory, her expression somewhat excited. I saw a burly man with a figure of 1.8 meters emerge from the experimental pile, looking at the powerful momentum of his 8-pack abs. Hui Yuhao murmured to himself in his heart, this is Fan Yu, the 8th-level soul mentor, with a strength that has reached the soul Douluo realm. No wonder he has become the deputy director of the Soul Guidance Academy. Zhou Yi excitedly said, Fan Yu, do you still remember what I said to you last time? Cough cough, you told me so much, where do I remember? Hurriedly coughed, indicating that Zhou Yi should pay attention to her image, as there were some things she couldn't say in front of so many students. Chapter 9. The most ruthless is the Imperial family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. After seeing Fan Yu, Zhou Yi no longer had the seriousness she had before, but instead had some gentleness of a woman. It's about soul masters who possess spiritual martial souls using soul guides. Hui Yuhao, tell him. Upon hearing Zhou Yi's words, Hui Yuhao understood that he had performed well and must not miss it. Teacher Fan Yu, my martial soul is the essence of the martial soul's spiritual with spiritual attributes. Fan Yu glanced at Hui Yuhao and immediately realized that he was a vegetable chicken, so he mercilessly refused. No, his physical fitness is too low. Whether he can use a soul guide or not is another matter. Faced with Fan Yu's refusal, Hui Yuhao naturally wouldn't give up and quickly spoke up, Teacher Fan Yu, my martial soul is a mutated spiritual martial soul. Before Han Yu could speak, he directly released his martial soul. Seeing the 10-year white soul ring, Fan Yu's gaze fell on Zhou Yi, as if to say, this is the person you recommended to me. Yu Hao, unleash your soul skills. Zhou Yi understood that Fan Yu was looking down on him. Before understanding Yu Hao, she didn't even look down on him. This is. Han Yu looked shocked as everything within 30 meters around her was presented in a three-dimensional manner before her eyes. Everything within a 30-meter unit of the laboratory was clearly visible to him, and he never expected that the 10-year soul ring would have such a magical skill. Yu Hao retrieved his martial soul and understood that he had successfully caught the attention of Fan Yu. Can a 10-year wind baboon really provide both detection and sharing abilities? Han Yu was a bit skeptical, thinking that such abilities should not be limited to a 10-year soul ring. However, as he looked at Yu Hao's white 10-year soul ring, he couldn't help but believe the facts before him. Teacher Fan Yu, when I was in the Starry Forest, I met Senior Bebe and Senior Tangya. They can testify that perhaps my spirit eye itself is a mutated martial soul, perhaps it has absorbed the wind baboon soul ring and mutated again. In order to gain the trust of Fan Yu and Zhou Yi, Yu Hao had to recount what had happened in the Starry Forest. Of course, for my own comfort, I only said half of it and never mentioned anything about the Tianmeng ice silkworm and Elix. Kaitu, come here and take him to the training ground. At this moment, a simple and honest bald boy emerged from the crowd. Although only 14 years old, his height was comparable to that of Han Yu, but he did not have Han Yu's 8-pack abs. Seeing Yu Hao, the other person looked enthusiastic and said, "Little brother, my name is Kaitu. You can call me Kaitu, that's how everyone calls me." Yu Hao's gaze turned to a friendly and slightly naive head of a cabbage. The real name of the head in front of him was Su He, the nephew of the current emperor of the Sun and Moon Empire. At the age of 9, his father, mother and 3 sisters died of food poisoning overnight. His uncle, in the name of the Qing emperor, entered the imperial palace and seized the throne by thunder. Overnight, from the revered crown prince Su He to a beggar, in order to avoid pursuit, he came to Shrek Academy and became the personal disciple of Fan Yu. "Brother He, my name is Yu Hao, please give me more guidance in the future." The sound of Big Brother plunged Kaitu into memories. The person who used to affectionately call Big Brother now became the crown prince of the Sun and Moon Empire, Su Tianran, while his uncle became the murderer. Kaitu experienced firsthand that the most ruthless is the Imperial family. "Zio Yuheo, today we will let you experience the power of soul guides." Kaitu looked at Yu Hao in front of him, feeling an inexplicable sense of familiarity in his heart. Perhaps in the dark, their encounter gave the two a sense of empathy. Upon arriving at the training ground, a bright light flashed on Kaitu's right arm, and mechanical sounds echoed in his arm. Blinking his eyes, his arm merged with the metal tube of the soul guide, directly transforming into a cannon barrel. Yu Hao released his spiritual eyes and martial soul, and instantly completed close-range detection and sharing. Kaitu was taken aback for a moment, not expecting this little brother's soul skills to be so magical. "Move the target, launch." With the assistance of Yu Hao, Kaitu is like having a 3-dimensional octagonal mirror, facing a moving target with one shot at a time. Just as Kaitu was playing happily, the moving target 50 meters away directly dodged his attack. Kaitu couldn't help but furrow his brow and look at Fan Yu behind him, saying, "Teacher, it's still not possible. We deviated from the attacking unit from 30 meters away." Fan Yu was also somewhat disappointed. She had put in a lot of effort for the solo extreme plan, and what she needed most now was a powerful soul master with spiritual attributes. "Teacher Fan Yu, my detection range will increase with the increase of soul power level." Yu Hao didn't want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What? How could this be possible? Fan Yu and Zhou Yi exchanged a glance, clearly subverting their knowledge and cognition. "Yu Hao, you can't just talk nonsense at this time, otherwise you will be expelled from Shrek College." Zhou Yi warned Yu Hao to become the second dragon. "Teacher Zhou, I know what I'm talking about, so naturally I won't deceive you." Yu Hao vowed that even with dual golden fingers, getting close to Fan Yu and Zhou Yi would definitely be a good choice for better cultivation. Great, when your radius detection reaches 100 meters, tell Zhou Yi and ask her to bring you to see me. I can personally teach you how to make soul guides and the theoretical knowledge of soul guides. Fan Yu understood that as long as Hui Yuhao's soul skills could grow, his solo ultimate plan could be fully unleashed. Zhaoshuyuan.com, what did that perverted old lady Zhou Yi teach you alone? As soon as I returned to the dormitory, I was asked by Wang Dong in front of me like a curious baby. Teacher Zhou wants to understand my martial soul and hopes that I will have better development in the future. You already know my martial soul, shouldn't I also know your martial soul? Wang Dong looked at Hui Yuhao. How could this be possible? Wang Dong was somewhat shocked when he was shared by the mental detection. No wonder the fight that day felt like you could predict my attack. You don't need to envy anymore. Your second soul ring is Millennium, which has already made many people envious. Hui Yuhao directly changed the topic, he always felt a pair of eyes staring at him. In the afternoon. Class 1, Grade 1. Our class's Wang Dong has the strongest strength. Starting today, Wang Dong will be your class monitor. In order to better improve your physical fitness, let's go to Shrek Square together. Zhou Yi said and led everyone to the square, only to see hundreds of iron clothes not far away. Your task this afternoon is to put on iron clothes and run until class ends. Looking at the iron clothes weighing over 30 pounds, an auxiliary female soul master became unhappy and spoke cautiously, saying, Teacher Zhou, we are auxiliary soul masters. Why, auxiliary soul masters don't need to enhance their physical fitness training anymore. Remember, when on the battlefield, enemies will never be soft-hearted because of your gender, age, and martial soul. In my Zhou Yi class, it's not like the assessment will be eliminated in 3 months. If you can't complete the task at any time, you can be eliminated at any time. Zhou Yi's eyes were full of domineering energy, and her words were beyond doubt. Chapter 10. The First Beauty of the Outer Courtyard, Jiang Nannan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ads by Google equals window. Ads by Google. Push. After wearing the iron coat, Hui Yuhao instantly felt the heaviness of his body. He understood that his current physical fitness was too poor. Only by breaking through the Soul Master realm and obtaining a second martial soul can he better enhance his physical fitness. All students in Class 1 are running on the runway of Shrek College Square. 1 minute later. Some students couldn't hold on, after all, for this run, wearing a 30-pound iron coat, the first student collapsed, and then the second and third students. Why is Hui Yuhao still running? Some tired students were very surprised. After all, he was recognized as the student with the worst strength and soul power. Even the talented Wang Dong couldn't bear it, but she didn't give up as she watched Hui Yuhao. Little did they know that Hui Yuhao was developing at this moment. After exhausting his soul power, he continued to cultivate Xiantian Gong, which was twice as high as his regular cultivation of Xiantian. He attends classes during the day and cultivates using Xiantian Gong at night. Over the years, the resilience of his meridians has been greatly enhanced. The bell rang after class, and Zhou Yi didn't expect that Hui Yuhao was the only student wearing an iron coat who persisted. Only Hui Yuhao has completed the task in the entire class. Starting from today, Wang Dong's position as class monitor will be cancelled, and Hui Yuhao will be appointed as class monitor. It will be disbanded. Watching Zhou Yi leave, Wang Dong's mouth twitched uncontrollably. Unexpectedly, he became the shortest-serving class monitor in the history of Shrek College. At night. Hui Yuhao, what are you still writing? Are you trying to make our sect leader hungry? Tang Yi came downstairs to the dormitory. If it weren't for the male dormitory being prohibited from entering, she had to make him remember for a long time. Xiaoya, wait a moment, I'll be right down. Hui Yuhao thought to himself that it had been an hour, and I believe Wang Dong should have finished washing himself. Bang dang. Pushing open the door of dormitory 201, I didn't expect to see a snow-white expanse in front of me, under the scrutiny of my mental state. Hui Yuhao, I'm going to kill you. Wang Dong never expected that Hui Yuhao would not knock on the door and burst into the room, let alone that he had just forgotten to lock it. Wang Dong, listen to my sophistry, no, listen to my explanation, I didn't see anything. Hui Yuhao explained seriously. You. Alright, I won't explain to you for now. Xiaoya downstairs is still waiting for me. Hui Yuhao didn't give Wang Dong the opportunity to speak, he didn't want to miss the opportunity to obtain the Xianshui Dan. Watching Hui Yuhao run out of the dormitory, Wang Dong blushed and wanted to slap him to death. Unexpectedly, his back was clearly visible in front of him. Arriving at the grilled fish stall, Hui Yuhao did not expect a long queue to form at the stall. Xiaoya, why are there so many people? Yuhao, your craftsmanship has spread throughout Shrek College, and this is the customer that our sect leader has recruited for you. Tanya, with a proud expression on her face, came to Shrek Academy. In order to meet Hui Yuhao's living needs, she came up with the idea of killing two birds with one stone by selling grilled fish. This can help Hui Yuhao earn money and also taste his grilled fish himself. The grilled fish is only sold for 18 pieces per day, and the following senior students can go back now. Hui Yuhao came to Shrek College to improve his skills, and grilled fish was entirely due to the pressure of life, but he wouldn't waste time on this matter. He only grilled 20 fish a day, sold 18, and left the remaining 2 days for himself and Tanya. The grilled fish was limited in quantity and sold very quickly, leaving only the last one in the blink of an eye. At this moment, a tall girl of about 14 years old walked out of the crowd, with a pair of red phoenix eyes. Her golden curly hair was draped behind her, and although her attire was somewhat simple, it still couldn't conceal her beauty. Are you here? Hui Yuhao murmured to himself, his mouth slightly rising. Classmate, how do you sell this grilled fish? The girl was attracted by the aroma of Hui Yuhao's grilled fish and couldn't help but walk up to his stall. Isn't this brand written, was grilled fish, 5 copper soul coins each? The girl couldn't help but frown. The purchase price for a grilled fish is usually 1 copper soul coin, but she didn't expect the other party to sell it so expensive. Classmate, this is too expensive. How about 3 copper soul coins per coin, and you can earn 2 copper soul coins too. Hui Yuhao glanced at the girl in front of him, and the system panel prompted. Name. Jiang Nannan Martial Soul. Soft Bone Rabbit Soul Power Level. Level 34. Strategy Value. 0. Hui Yuhao did not expect that Jiang Nannan, the most beautiful woman in the outer courtyard, was also a small financial fanatic, but he did not mock her. This was closely related to her background. Senior sister, we don't bargain on grilled fish. We've already bought it today. Come over tomorrow, and the remaining 2 are for ourselves. This sentence is not only meant for Jiang Nannan, but also for the person who is tracking him in the dark. Damn it, dare to refuse Jiang Nannan. You have to sell these 2 grilled fish today. If you don't sell them, you have to sell them too. A golden light flashed away in the distance and instantly inserted into the booth board in front of Hui Yuhao. The other party leaped into the air and came to the stall in front of Hui Yuhao, ready to snatch these 2 grilled fish. Hui Yuhao grabbed the grilled fish, and the ghost disappeared in an instant. The other person's hand was directly roasted on the fire rack. Su Sancher, how dare you bully the people of our Tianmeng? Are you sure there is no one in our Tianmeng? Tanya said, and several hidden weapons were launched in an instant. Su Sancher used the folding fan in his hand to instantly resist, but ultimately missed one. Dragon Whisker Needle. Su Sancher didn't expect Tanya to be so vicious. The dragon whisker pierced his waist and instantly wrapped around his muscles. Seeking death. As Su Sancher was about to take action, Bebe instantly blocked in front of Tanya. Su Sancher, this is not your style. Bebe smiled and looked at Su Sancher, but suddenly he thought of Hui Yuhao's soul skills. How about going to the soul fighting field? Okay, look for Shuyuan www.zhaoshuyuan.com. Who's afraid of anyone? Su Sancher probably couldn't believe that he had fallen into Bebe's trap. Soul fighting area, hurry up and take out the dragon whisker needle. Su Sanchi's teeth were itching with anger, but he understood that only the unique techniques of the Tang sect could be taken out without harming the opponent. Just take it out and exchange it with a Xianshui Dan. Bebe looked at Su Sancher with a smile on his face. Now that Hui Yuhao's physical fitness is too poor, without external help, he would not be eliminated in the assessment 3 months later. This is not what he and Tangya want to see. Xianshui Dan. How dare you speak up? Su Sancher understood that Bebe had caught his weakness, and as a recluse from the Tianmeng sect, he naturally did not lack a Xianshui Dan, but he refused to give it away. If you don't want to, let's just give up with your injuries. Don't forget that Jiang Nannan is also watching this game. You're ruthless. When Su Sancher heard the 3 words, Jiang Nannan, his intelligence was not enough, so he directly took out an item from the soul guide bracelet and ring. Bebe took the jade bottle and smiled slightly at the corner of his mouth, thinking to himself, I didn't expect Su Sancher to be so easy to fool. After taking out the dragon whisker needle, Su Sancher became increasingly angry as he watched Bebe's little man succeed. Bebe, do you dare to bet with me? If you lose, return the Xianshui Dan to me, and if I lose, how about giving you another Xianshui Dan? I'm afraid this isn't good, is it? Bebe didn't expect to doze off, and Su Sancher, with his silly heart, stuffed his pillow. Bebe, I knew you were a coward. Su Sancher thought Bebe was afraid of losing, but little did he know that Bebe had already tricked a Xianshui pill, and he felt a little guilty in his heart. Okay, it's a deal. Bebe watched Su Sancher so decisively, and the little guilt in his heart instantly dissipated.